Hey friend, welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad you're here today because this video is the start of something special. We're starting a brand new series where I'm taking a one-bedroom apartment and showing you how to bring a full interior design style to life, room by room. This video will be focused on living room design, and in this series, the interior design style is Western. Not the old cowboy saloon kind, but the urban cowboy style. Think warm woods, leather textures, earthy tones, rugged charm, with just a touch of frontier spirit. Western design is a trend for 2025, especially with the rise of modern rustic influences. Country music is back on the charts, and people still being heavily into thrifting and repurposing old things. So the combination of all of these things happening at the same time are leading to cozy and authentic spaces that are full of character. And that is exactly what we're going to capture today. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to start with concept development, which is understanding the space, who the space is for, and how the space will be used. Next is design development, where we'll create a floor plan and a 3D layout to bring the style to life. Now, normally as a designer, I would create a 3D layout with the products that I've sourced, but for this exercise, I'll be using the tools available in Floorplanner, so there will be style stand-ins. All right, so let's jump into concept development by first understanding the space. So here is our 615 square foot apartment we're designing. This is a pretty standard one-bedroom apartment in the US. I just found this apartment online and recreated it in Floorplanner. The living room here is 15 feet by 16 feet, which is a pretty good size in a city or suburban living. So taking a closer look, we see down here that the front door opens directly into the living room. There is a sliding glass door that leads out to a patio. Kitchen and dining flow right off of the living room here. And back here, there is a corridor that leads to the bathroom and the bedroom. Now, there aren't any windows in this living room except for this sliding glass door. So most of the natural light is going to come from here, which makes this door an important aspect of how we're going to design the space. There is a small corner here next to the sliding glass door, and this kitchen wall here is broken off by this walkway that's created from the dining to the corridor. All of these little quirks to this living room give us challenges and opportunities to create a great living space for someone. Now, who is that someone? Let's figure that out. For this Western apartment, I'm imagining a young couple in their mid to late 20s. Maybe they just moved into this apartment in a cool urban neighborhood somewhere in California. They love the rise of country music. They're fans of Cowboy Carter album and Morgan Wallen, Boots by the Door, and they'd love for their home to reflect that spirit, a modern Western vibe that supports their lifestyle. Which leads to the next question: what is their lifestyle and how would they use this apartment? This is a young couple, so I'm imagining they entertain friends often, so extra seating is going to be a must. They stream shows constantly, have Netflix nights, and maybe binge marathons on the weekends, and maybe one of them works remotely, so a space for a desk is needed. All right, now that we've completed the concept development, let's get into design development. So let's jump into the 3D model of this apartment to get a better feel for this living room. Walking through the front door, we get a feel for how big this space really is. We get a better understanding of how the sliding glass door dominates this living room. So our design has to really evolve around this door and the light it's going to provide. Here we can kind of see just an example of what the light is going to do through this door. And then getting a look at this corner in 3D, looks like it could be a good space for a desk or a reading nook. We can see the kitchen wall here is a really good space. It could handle maybe some cabinets, shelving, maybe a credenza. And the wall behind the front door here looks to be a great canvas for a few different things that we could try. Now that we've taken a look at the space in 3D, let's head back to the 2D and lay out this living room. Now, there are a few different ways I can lay out this living room, but for this couple, I'm going to have the setup focused in this area here and then facing this full wall. So a sofa here facing this wall, and then the TV is going to be placed on the wall. So let's get a measurement to see what we can do. And just checking this wall here, it's almost 10 feet, which is a really good distance from where we want to put the sofa to the TV. So here we have the 8 feet measured out, which is about the suggested viewing distance for the average American TV size. Let's move this sofa so that the 8 feet reaches the back rest of the sofa. and I'm gonna try and move this into the middle of the room. So we've started with the largest piece of furniture, which is the sofa. We've dropped in a reference, a 3-seat sofa that looks to be a great fit for this space, and we have the capabilities to do quite a bit of things around it. As a tip for spaces by multiple people, if possible, choosing a slightly smaller sofa that allows for additional chairs to be added can go a long way in combating fatigue of a space. A space can start to feel small and boring fairly quickly by having to sit in the same place, and in this scenario, a couple having the option to be together in the same space but separated doing different things is valuable. So maybe we have this sofa here that doesn't have a chase, it's not an L shape, and we can have one person sitting on the sofa watching TV and a cozy chair over here where the other person can be doing something completely different. So let's see what a chair would look like here. So just with these two pieces of furniture, we can see that there's a really good space here for a coffee table. So let's drop one in. And let's get a TV on the wall. And now let's drop a bookshelf in the corner next to the chair. And it doesn't look like they have a reference for media console, so I'm just gonna edit this coffee table to be about 70 inches, 18 inches deep. And I think a side table here would be a good touch. So we've got a good floor plan developing here. I really like this idea of a chair and a reading nook over here. I think this couple would be very happy to be able to sit here and still have a view out of this window. Now, next I'd like to see what we can do with this corner over here. So let's take some quick measurements. So we got 32 inches by about 55 inches, which is a good size for a desk. So I think that's what I want to do. And then after I put in a desk, I'll see what the walking space is here and whether or not we need to adjust the furniture. So it doesn't look like they have a reference desk. So I'm just going to create one that is about the average size of a desk. And now we can see, even though this is an average size desk, which is probably larger than whatever we would find later on, I'm not going to worry about this shallow walkway here. And next, let's check out this kitchen wall to see what we can do here. This wall is 8.5 feet. So this kitchen wall is a great space, very valuable space. This would be a great for a mixed entertainment console. So let's drop some cabinets for storage. Maybe the countertops can be used for a record player, a bar setup for when they host people. And then I think I'm just gonna add a plant here just for reference. And you know what? I am gonna move this furniture even though I said I wasn't. All right, so let's hop back into 3D and see what this layout would look like. So now, walking through the front door, we really see what furniture would look like in here in this setup that we just made. Starting here, we can see how that 8 feet would look to the TV. And I'm just gonna move this down because it's bothering me. And now onto the desk is a really good spot. I think sitting here, having the light from the window would be a really nice. Yeah, I'm just really excited about this kitchen wall. I think this is going to be a really cool space. All right, now that we have a solid floor plan to build from, let's start turning this into a Western design. All right, so I've dropped in most of the essential items in order to create this space. So here is what it is looking like, and I am really happy with the way this is looking so far, this Western design. I am absolutely in love though with this bench I put here. I really love this idea in this Western design of just having a bench as a TV console. There's tons of opportunities to set things on here, and this is getting me excited to just start filling in details, but we won't get there yet. So let's hop back to 2D and then let's work on this desk area. All right, so we've got the desk area set up. We've got this kitchen wall area set up with a large cabinet. So let's jump into the 3D and take a look at these. So we have a older desk here. This is something that could be found maybe on Facebook Marketplace or at a thrift store. And we have a modern design chair. It has wheels, but this is a very classic design. It's in leather. And I think it's a good balance for someone who's going to be, sitting in here for a long period of time, pushes that Western design style, but will be comfortable. And then I found these coat racks that I use as shelves. Could be a good idea in real life to use as a shelf over a desk. And then I got a little ahead of myself and threw up a lamp and this lantern to kind of just give it that vibe for now. And then this kitchen wall, I dropped in a cactus to go with the theme. And I found this very rustic looking cabinet here that has storage. You'll be able to put many different things in it, and it still leaves a lot of space on the wall here to be able to put artwork or anything like that. We've got in all of the major things that really create this Western design. Now it's time to really finalize the character, add books, artwork, and things like that. So it is time for some detailing. All right, so I do have to jump in here and interrupt because my recording stopped. So I do apologize if you were interested in the speed detailing, but there's about 40 minutes of detailing missing because the recording stopped. But the detailing is complete now, so let's take a walk through the front door and see this reveal. And the only thing left to do now is to take a recap of what we've done. So let's start over here with the desk. I used this older looking desk to complete this look. I really like this idea of repurposing these coat hangers that have shelves on them. I think it would be pretty easy to DIY. I have a lantern here. I like this idea of dropping lanterns all over the place that kind of really go with that time period. And of course we have a window, so I put curtains that go pretty much all the way up to the ceiling. A cast iron bar can be used to still go with the theme, and these are burgundy curtains that go with the color palette. And moving on to the kitchen wall, I think this is a really great mixed use entertainment space. You can see there's the bar set up here, and we're gonna pretend this record that's laying down is a record player, and a nice lamp over here to kind of finish that off. And as you can see, I put wallpaper up. This wavy wallpaper really mimics sort of the desert sand. It being blue really helps bring balance to the rest of the apartment, having a lot of warm colors, burnt oranges and browns, and just blue I used throughout the apartment as accent colors that really help bring balance to the entire space. I also use these framed record players as placeholders. You can just imagine this couple hanging up, album covers of their favorite artists. And then of course, just a cactus that really goes along with the theme, adds a little bit of green here. And just real quick, by the door, I put up a mirror for this couple. I think that would be something be pretty important to them. And above it, I think it would be a great place to put a buffalo skull. Now this program only had this goldish bronze one, but a white one that is not too big of a focus would be perfect here. And now on to the main focus of the living room, the seating area. Starting with the seating, this sofa is a little bit more modern, but I think it still works as long as you find something where the texture really matches the aesthetic and balances well with these two older items, like this older looking chair and these ottomans that have this woven cloth to it. All of these textures would really go well together. And on the sofa, I just have a leather brownish pillow, and then also a cloth pillow that sort of matches these ottomans here. And I just really love the stump being here, outside of it really adding to the design concept. Think of it as a side table, but then it also can be used as a seat to put on and take off shoes to go out of the patio or out of the front door. And remembering that this couple is probably gonna have people over, using these ottomans instead of a more official coffee table is perfect because they can just easily be moved around. Obviously, people can sit on them. And remember, we have a bar tray, so that tray can actually just be brought over and sat on these ottomans. When you have people over, everyone's sitting around and you can entertain that way. And our reading nook over here, we have this leather chair, really great chair that goes with the design. I have a floor standing lamp right next to it in case someone just wanted to have a light on while they're reading. The bookcase is right next to it, and a southwestern rug to really bring this together. As you can see, for this rug in this example, it has all of the colors that I used in this apartment design. So this really ties everything together. And the thing I'm probably most excited about this entire design is this idea of using this old bench that has a live edge. On here I have a cast iron leg lamp. There's a horse statue. There's still room to put a sound bar, some desert plants on here, a stack of books, and another lantern here as a decor piece. And lastly, throwing up the really large artwork here. This one is obviously just of a horse. Because of everything that's going on in this area, as long as you have a very simple, calm piece of artwork, you can put up a very large piece here and it would still blend in because there's so much going on. All right, so that is the completion of this living room. I am really happy with this Western living room. If you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comments. In the next video of this series, I'll be working on the kitchen and the dining. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss that video. I hope this helps with some ideas for your space, and I'll see you in the next video.